So for the news part of our project, I think people were a little bit hesitant. They didn't really truly speak what was probably in
Yeah.
their hearts.
Yeah.
I feel like they were afraid. They said what they thought they should say,
Yeah.
rather
They said
than
what they thought we
what was actually the correct thing to,
They're trying
their
to still
correct
be
opinion.
politically correct.
Yeah.
Right.
Too, like they didn't want to offend anybody.
I think the first people that we interviewed that really kind of set the edge off was that old couple, because they were actually truthful
They're actually truthful.
about what they really saw. And from my research, it is a skewed perspective that the news shows on TV, and people are supposed to think that blacks are more associated with crime. They are supposed to think that blacks are more associated with being economically depressed. So these are things that are truthful in what we are taught to perceive, and people kind of were scared to even say that, because
Right.
it wasn't right.
Right.
And I feel like the older, even the guy, he was like, oh, when he said, who do you think the criminal will be? He's like black, and you're like, why? And he's like, well,
Just
that's just what I think.
that's-
Yeah.
I feel like he kind of had hit the nail on the head as far as what we're supposed to perceive, whether there's a reason behind it or not.
Yeah. And then the other people that we interviewed, probably that stuck out the most to me was the Confederate guy.
Yeah.
Confederate fan.
He was very.
He was one of the most
vocal.
honest, I think, out of anyone we
He was.
interviewed. Affirmative action seemed to be something he was very,
Adamant about.
Yeah.
really wanted to.
He's really not. Which, I mean, I agree to an extent. If they give, a black person a job because they're black as opposed to more qualified,
Right.
over a more qualified person,
Yeah.
I agree that's not right. But
And then you play the devil's advocate, and they also don't get they don't get the education, they don't get the resources to make the Head Start,
Right.
to be as qualified as whites. So I mean, there's just
Right.
this this double jeopardy going on, this devil's advocate that what is right, is
Right.
there really an answer?
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. He seemed to also take, the topic was really the news, but he really took race in the media as a whole, it seemed,
Yeah.
and just kind of analyzed it from the broad, perspective. But
which
his
is
honesty was good.
Yeah.
So sports.
I mean, most people were pretty right on. Those, the older guys that we interviewed,
Mhm.
not the guys, the second guys at the bar or whatever, they were very honest,
Right.
talking about, the guys, I don't really watch sports, but I know there's a lot of black people in,
Right.
football and basketball as opposed to baseball or whatever. But, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people kind of,
Didn't seem to really be any hard feelings in that.
yeah,
at all.
there's not really a lot of, controversy
Yeah,
as
it's
far as,
just kind of
sports.
how it is.
Yeah, it's just, stating facts, there's a certain percentage of black people in sports or white
Mhm.
people or whatever. And a lot of people were shocked that there were only 8% black people in baseball,
Right.
more Hispanics than white.
Well, I watch baseball, and I don't see many blacks at all.
Yeah.
I
Which,
think I'm
I
a
mean,
white
and that's
person
fine.
when I
Right.
see
And,
baseball.
When
Yeah,
I was
me
doing my
too.
research, they were saying that 8 is the lowest percentage since the 60s of black people. It's declining, which I think is the opposite of what you would think would happen. You would think, we're getting more advanced or whatever, so
Mhm.
there would be more black people, but it's actually less black people. I think it's more Hispanics though. I need to look that up. But,
Yeah. There seemed to be a strong consensus on that hockey was all white.
Yeah.
That was a definite.
That was a definite.
And there seemed to be a consensus that yes, minorities get more attention if they're good.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't think, and that guy said, a lot of baseball players, the minorities that get in trouble are a lot more publicized, I guess, than, white people. I don't know, but, a lot of people didn't really know about soccer. A lot of people said, Hispanic, Latinos or whatever for
Mhm.
soccer, though, which is kind of stereotypical. But,
Yeah, because I feel like soccer is not one of our nation's pastimes.
yeah,
so
it's
Right.
not really it's a sport, but it's not a very, publicized sport. sport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not as-
it's not a big sport.
In America.
Yeah. It's a
Um,
lot bigger in like Hispanic
Yeah,
places.
Hispanic and
Latin.
European. Then we had advertising. I think the quote of the day was advertising is pathetic.
Yes.
That would be.
I think that sums it all up, really.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this was more of a not what we thought, but what you see kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think it's like, I sorry,
Go ahead.
I think it's like a lot of people were saying, like, it is stereotypical, like,
Mhm.
they, like, if you're advertised, like, if your product is for black people, you're obviously gonna have a black face. I mean, it's common sense, like, it's not necessarily racist, it's just makes more sense advertising-wise to
Yeah.
advertise to the people that buy your product.
Mhm.
Exactly.
So,
And I mean, just going through like magazines though, and I've taken other race classes, and for high fashion kind of advertising, they use, sometimes the designer picks the race that most stands out to the outfit that they wear. Or many times they'll pick a black, a dark black, a lighter black person over a darker black person because their complexion
Right.
looks more like a white person.
yeah. Or it's like a better like mix because having somebody really really dark or like a really really pale person
Yeah.
is kind of like a
You
in
take
the
someone like
middle.
Beyonce
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
advertising,
somebody that's like.
and seems to be more prevalent.
I think it's because like, and I mean even like I've seen like hair commercials and stuff that she does with like hair coloring and stuff, and like, I mean a lot of black people that I know, like as opposed to getting their hair dyed, they just get like colored like weave put in. So I mean like she definitely like advertises to white people too, but I think she's mixed.
Mhm.
So
Oh, is she?
I think so. So she had like some,
Right.
like I think her hair might be like, I don't know. Sorry, that's not you can cut that part out.
I think the clear thing that came out is that advertising, as it should be, is targeted towards any particular group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's just the nature of advertising, and that's part of it. So,
Yeah.
then we arrived at politics, nice way to end the
Just very
day.
interesting.
More focus on the election of Obama. Mixed views,
I
really.
agree. But that's, I mean, it's been that way since he
Mhm.
got nominated. Like, it's been really mixed. And I don't think there's really like a gray area. Like, you're either, you feel really strongly one way or the other. Like,
Mhm.
not many people are like indifferent about it.
Right.
So, I mean, like, a lot of people just, I mean,